Let's talk about the age-old debate of fasted versus fed cardio. I will tell you that my perspective has changed over the years. There is scientific evidence to back one side versus the other, but a lot of it is going to be anecdotal. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you utilize cardio in a fasted or cardio or fed state correctly, you'll reap the benefits of both. Now, end all be all, the truth of the matter is, and this goes with training, nutrition, whatever it is, whatever allows you to get it done consistently is going to be the most important factor. So for instance, if you are unable to complete fasted cardio because you cannot separate your sessions, then don't do fasted cardio, right? Or if your training sessions are too long to where if you do cardio post workout and that's going to create too long of a session, then obviously don't do it. You can split it up. That's going to be the number one deciding factor. Now, let's talk about, again, what cardio does, okay? You have different heart rate zones, yes, but you also have different fuel systems, okay? You have 3 different fuel systems that your body will tap into for energy to be able to complete things, okay? You have the quick, the quicker, and the quickest, okay? Well, actually, yeah, take that the other way. The quick, the slower, and the slowest, okay? That's actually the better way to do it. So the quick is just something you're gonna use. It's not really even a factor in your cardio. As you tap into glycolysis, which is the utilization of carbohydrates, that is gonna be a slightly longer term. That's your second fuel source, form of energy that your body can use. You really want to start to tap into the oxidative cycle, which is that third one that takes a little bit to kick on. That is what oxidizes fat to be able to create more energy. So that is ultimately what's happening in any of those. One big thing to distinguish is just because you are eating carbohydrates and fat and then you are burning fat and carbohydrates is not the same thing as losing body fat. So when people say you burn more fat while you are doing fasted cardio, it is just you're using fat more as a fuel source, which can bias the body to use more body fat. But ultimately, if you're not in a caloric deficit, you're going to use more fat. But if you're not in a caloric deficit, you're going to store more fat, if that makes sense. So ultimately what I'm trying to say is caloric deficit matters the most as far as if we're going to be burning fat as a totality. But sure, in that cardio session, you might be burning more fat, right? Dietary fat, body fat, whatever it may be, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be having less body fat at the end of the day. You have to be in a caloric deficit for this to work. Now, I personally think there are a lot more benefits of fasted cardio than there are fed state. This is why. First and foremost, when you add the length of a cardio session to a training session, it makes that session very long. So you got driving to the gym, you got the warm-up, you got the training session, you got the cardio session, you got the posing, you got the cool down, right? And then you're eating. That's a long window of high amount of stress and fatigue with not enough recovery. So separating the sessions, in my opinion, and doing it fasted is a great way. In addition, obviously, if I do it fasted, it's more likely that I'm going to have more separation between my cardio and my training, which will allow me to have the cardio session, give maximal output, recover, then train at maximal output. Because I do not ever want to do cardio pre-workout, even if it takes a fraction of a percent away from the intensity of my training. I don't want to risk it, because the whole point of going into my training is I want to be as strong and efficient as possible. Now, when we look at the blood sugar benefits of it, okay, and the insulin sensitivity, in a fasted state, your blood sugar is going to be already pretty low. As you do cardio fasted, you're going to tap into whatever blood sugar you have left or glycogen and have your body start to release that, right? And then eventually you're going to tap into more fat storage, but it is another way to help keep your body more insulin sensitive. The less elevated we can have your blood sugar, especially in the morning. Some people have Dawn's phenomena or other factors that affect their elevated blood sugar. The more that we can bring that back down, it's going to help with the insulin sensitivity. Again, when it comes to digestion, you get things moving, okay? So as blood starts to circulates through the digestive system, moves those smooth muscles and allows food to pass through. Last but not least, again, is going to be the factor of what is going to be most beneficial for your training at the end of the day. If it is just for convenience sake and conscious sake, doing it post-workout, that is fine. Ultimately, at the end of the day, how I would tier it is completely separate from your training session, number 1, post-workout, number 2, and there's no number 3. I would never do it pre-workout. So when it comes to the age-old discussion, what is better, fasted or post? I don't necessarily see much benefit post-workout other than continued blood flow and circulation, which allows for recovery and excretion of toxins. Other than that, I do see some risk if someone is doing an hour to an hour and a half training session than doing 30 minutes of cardio plus. For my clientele, if you're doing about 30 minutes plus on cardio, I'm more than likely going to suggest you separate it. I personally, at this time, due to travel, it's easier for me to put a post-workout, but I get some steps in the morning, so that is a factor as well. Anyway, at the end of the day, there is a lot of scientific basis. There also is the bro science anecdotal basis of what fits best for you. Ultimately, that's gonna be my recommendation. If you like this video and want more, please subscribe to my channel. And if you wanna know what it takes to work with us, please fill out the form in my bio and we'll immediately reach back to you with the following steps.